back, everybody, to another episode of Offsides, the unofficial official podcast of Charlotte Football Club. As always, I am your host, Andres Robledo, and I am joined today by our co-host, Pablo Robledo. Pablo, how was the weekend?
It was great. Great weekend.
Survive the first hot weekend of the summer?
Yeah, it wasn't too bad.
Speak for yourself.
What'd you do that was so hot?
Went and watched the Charlotte game.
you went outside to sit. You complained about the heat.
Sat in the shade too. Walked in the shade, sat in the shade. Yeah, I mean, it was like mid 80s. It's gonna get way hotter soon. Those June, July games in August are gonna be brutal. But
For the players, maybe that are playing. You're just sitting there.
It's still hot, man. So apologies for the delay in the episode last week.
No apology.
Someone didn't want to edit it. I'm not gonna say who. But someone didn't want to edit and publish the episode. But
it was you.
Yeah, it was me. I was really busy this week. But to start the episode off, we did want to reiterate that we are doing our first giveaway. We're giving away your brand new home jersey of the U.S. men's national team. What size is it?
It's an extra large.
Extra large men's national team jersey. Ahead of the World Cup, we'll be giving it away. And you can enter a couple different ways. You follow us on Instagram and leave a like and comment tagging 2 of your friends on the post about the giveaway. That'll be 1 entry. If you leave a review on wherever you listen to this podcast, that's an extra entry. And if you go to our YouTube channel and subscribe and comment on this episode, that'll also be another entry. So you've got 3 ways to enter the giveaway, up your chances of winning. And we'll be giving that jersey away on the episode after we play New York Red Bulls at home.
June 11th.
Yeah. Well, that's when they play, right?
Yes.
Yeah, so that...
But we're also playing for this next.
Yeah.
But yeah, okay, I got you.
Yeah. So...
Also, you could just sell me for the jersey.
Yeah, we could rig this thing also. So that'll be our first giveaway. We'll be doing some others later on in the summer, which are going to include, tickets to the game. So keep an eye out for that. But yeah, this will be our first one. So go enter and win a free jersey. All right, so jumping into the news, I didn't really have a ton of news besides a rumor that Top Bin 90 actually is the one who tweeted it out, and I think he's kind of the main source of this news, is that, Charlotte FC and Feyenoord are interested in signing 21-year-old attacking midfielder Nicolas Castro from the Argentine side Newell's Old Boys. What do you think of that?
Do we really need another attacking player?
I would say after watching this last game, yeah, we need some kind of creative midfielder, because I think that was, we'll get to it when we review the game, but...
What about defense?
Yeah, yeah, we need that too, but we need
can
both.
Only pick one.
If we can only pick one, then yeah, I think, going for a defender is probably a smarter move, but I wouldn't say like another defender is the only piece that we're missing. I think we really are missing like some kind of creative midfielder.
I just feel like we have so many options now for the attacking side, and it's like for the back line, it's just like 6 guys. You get, Armour's out. He was one of the main starters, and then Fuchs is like
starting to get hurt,
starting to show his age a bit. So all they've had left is McCoon, and Moore is now a starter, which he used to not be. And like, we got the other Polish guy.
Yeah,
but he's barely been in it.
And then Anton Walks,
right? So that's
hasn't played in
2,
a while.
But like, we have so many more options for the attacking side, where it's like, I feel like we need more defensive subs.
Yeah, you can also, I don't know how it works in MLS, but we've loaned out Koa Santos to the Charlotte Independents. I think we could always call him back up. Done really well in the Open Cup.
No take backs.
But I think he could, be another good, for depth, bring him back up. And then also, I think Derek Jones can play at center back. He's definitely got like the physical like prowess for it.
True.
Um,
By physical, you mean he's tall?
tall, strong. Like I think he's got good positioning. Like he knows how to tackle like players off the ball really well.
Mm-hmm.
So I think he could do it. And then obviously, yeah, we got Jan and Anton Walks, two other center backs. Awful, who played really well. But yeah, I agree. I mean, I think we still need like another left back or something. But I think we also need some kind of like midfielder that transitions us from attack to defense because like we were really missing that this past game. At least to me, that was.
Yeah,
I thought that's what we were missing.
It looks like we can get into this later, but it just looked like our opening attack was just like really slow to build up, or just to start. It like from our back line, it was just starting real slow.
Yeah, and it just like no one in the midfield got open really, or like found any good space in the middle.
I think it was an issue with like the weather. Like it was just so hot. Like it was hard to stay consistent playing at that quick pace.
Maybe, who knows?
Because I know Vancouver was having major issues with their players, just like being overheated. They're like, we're not used to this southern women. I mean, what was I gonna say? Weather.
Oh boy.
Southern women.
What?
I said southern women.
Oh, I'm sure they're not used to that either. I'm sure some of the players got into some trouble.
Yeah, those two goalies did.
Yeah.
You got the herp.
It wasn't COVID.
No. Welcome to the South.
No, but I mean, yeah, I agree. Like maybe a defender's probably what we should be focusing on. But if they sign this guy who seems to, another attacking option can't hurt either, especially with how little chances we make and how little goals we've been scoring lately. I don't know. It could be exciting. It'll be interesting to keep our eyes up for it.
Yeah.
And then the other thing I wanted to talk about before
it's not gonna be a good chemistry there, though. Sorry to cut you off, but Argentinian and Colombian guy.
Ortiz is Argentinian.
Yeah, but you don't see them playing together.
Yeah.
Nah, I don't know. I'm just kidding.
I don't think that'll be an issue. And then before we get into the review of the match, the last thing I want to talk about was the tickets for the Chelsea game on July 20th went on pre-sale for season ticket holders, and I think they go on sale this week for everyone else. And I, for one, was extremely disappointed in the pricing. I thought it was like really overpriced for an exhibition game. I get that it's like Chelsea, it's the best team in Europe, but
Whoa.
but I just thought like it's not going to be all the starters
or any of them.
Yeah, it's going to be a lot of like second string guys, reserve guys, like young guys.
Pretty sure it's like their youth academy.
Yeah, so for it to be, I think like the section that we normally sit in, which is like the 300 section for our season tickets, or like I think averaged out to be like $90 a ticket. They were selling for like $170, like just to get our regular seats.
Inflation, dude.
Yeah, I guess so. But I just thought that was a bit ridiculous. Like I get it, it's a very unique opportunity to go see this team and whatnot, but for an exhibition game, like I kind of feel like those two things cancel out. Maybe just price it like a regular match, and for it to be so high, yeah, or lower. I mean, I'd be happy with that too.
It'd be like up to the fans, like either we all show up or just none of us show up.
And that was the other thing too, is like there are cheaper tickets, like they're opening up the top half of the stadium for this match, but even like lower 500s, like call it maybe like row 15 and below, that was still like 60, 70, $80.
Oh, that's not terrible.
Yeah.
You see, like the one thing about the Bank of America Stadium that I like is that 500 section, that top part of it is still a good section to sit in. Like you can still see the game in very good quality if you're sitting in rows like 10 and below.
Yeah.
But and then once you start getting like real nosebleeds, then it's like, yeah, it's almost not even worth it. Yeah,
it does feel like you're constantly gonna fall.
Yeah.
And then those seats were selling for like $35, $40, which
right.
I'm like, that's, you're probably gonna
get like Uber Eats to get your snacks because it's a long way to the snack bar. But still, like for the 500 section, that's not terrible, but that's the price that for regular season tickets you're paying for in the 1, 2, and 300 section.
Yeah, which to me was like if you're opening it up to even more people, it's like even more reason to lower ticket prices.
But I bet you they're still gonna sell out.
Yeah, I mean it is the best team in Europe. Not debatable.
Maybe when Drogba was playing.
They won the Champions League last year. I won't have any slander.
Okay.
They didn't win this year though. And I think they finished like 3rd in the Premier League.
Thanks.
Yeah, but anyway, I mean, just wanted to get those thoughts across and see what you thought about it. I mean, we'll be going, so that's gonna be cool. Hopefully, some of the starters get to play. How do you think Charlotte's gonna do in that game? Do you think we'll play our full starting team? Treat it like a regular match?
It depends where we're at on the table.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't think we're gonna play our full starters. The friendly match it's just gonna be like just to get some minutes out there, sell some tickets. You also mentioned that one of the stipulations for Chelsea coming over was they didn't want a turf field, they wanted grass.
Yeah, they wanted like a natural field. So
they're gonna take up the turf and put in grass.
That's what I've heard. Yeah, so they'll tear up the turf that they currently play on and put a natural grass field out, and then I guess after that match, tear the grass field up and put the turf back.
That is so crazy.
Yeah.
Especially like in July when that grass is gonna be burnt up after like a day.
Yeah.
But
I mean, I'd rather play on grass than the turf, honestly.
Yeah, I'd rather the games be played on grass, but
there's something about like turf fields where the way the ball bounces that like I don't know,
a little unpredictable.
Yeah, it's weird. I don't know how everyone else feels about that. I think most people don't like the artificial turf that it looks like everyone plays on.
Like on turf, I think you just have to play a little faster.
Yeah.
Like the turf doesn't slow the ball down as much.
Yeah.
But it should still be an entertaining game. That's all it's really there for. It's just see how we kind of match up against an international team.
Yeah. Do you think it breaks the attendance that we had at the LA game? I don't think so.
Yeah, I don't think so.
That game was pretty much sold out. I don't think this will sell out.
Yeah, no, I don't think it will. No, I don't see that happening. It'll be close though, but I don't think it'll sell out that much.
Yeah, I agree.
That'll be interesting though. We'll have to keep an eye on that.
Yeah, I'm sure those numbers will be out soon.
I wonder if we'll see some. I'm sure we will. Some Chelsea jerseys out there. Which one are you gonna wear?
So I was actually thinking about this yesterday.
I know which one you're gonna wear because you can't fit into your Chelsea one.
I'm gonna buy a new Chelsea one. I was thinking of wearing the Charlotte one for the first half and then the Chelsea one for the second half. Just switching it out.
You sweat through your first one.
Yeah.
That's gonna be our second giveaway. Sweaty Charlotte jersey.
Yeah. No, my jersey's gonna get framed after this season. Keep all that moisture in there. So let's jump into the match. Charlotte played Vancouver at home. It was Vancouver, unfortunately had some bad luck with their goalkeepers. Both got put on the health and protocol list.
Mm-hmm. Herpes.
Alleged, nothing confirmed, but we're pretty sure. And so at the last minute, they had to call up their academy goalkeeper. Is that right?
Yeah, he's played on their under 20 academy. I forget their name, but he was called up like 2 days before the match, basically.
Yeah, 17-year-old. Was it Max Anchor? Max Anchor. Gotcha.
Pretty cool name.
Yeah, sounds like an action hero.
It does.
Sounds like Bruce Willis would play him in a movie. But huge props to him, like just to go ahead and get that up front. I thought he played pretty well, being 17 years old and playing in a professional match. Super last minute, like can't get much more last minute.
Yeah.
you know.
That's a lot of pressure on a 17-year-old to take. You're getting called up 2 days before on an away game to the freaking hot state, and then like he's gonna get a lot of shots on. So how many does he let in? But he did really good. Like I was impressed.
And one thing I didn't even think about till just now is also he started the first half on the supporter section side. I'm
Yeah.
sure that was uneasy, just hearing all those people going nuts behind you. Like, because the stadium is nonstop loud, man. Like, it's loud in there. So for yeah, being a 17-year-old and having to deal with all that, like, props to him for keeping it like very, very close, because he did save them quite a few times. And
Yeah, he had some real good saves.
so Charlotte get back to their winning ways, 2-1. What did you think of the starting lineup? And I can tell you the lineup if you don't remember anyone. But what did you think of it?
No, I was okay with the lineup. I like that they started Yazviak and Swiderski up there, Chinishinsky. Um, um, with the way that they played Bronico, I wasn't too upset about it. Who else? Fuchs was back in, so I was happy about that. Else was in the Alcivar was in.
Yeah, that was probably the only one that I wasn't too happy with at the start of it. I don't remember if there was news as to if not Rios, but Sergio Ruiz was hurt or not. But I don't think he was. I would have thought he'd be in that starting lineup.
Yeah.
Thought he played really well the last 2 games. And I thought Alcivar was kind of like so the last couple games. So to not see him in the starting lineup was a bit odd, and then to see Alcivar in there was a little worrisome at first. I'd say he had
I
an
was
okay
okay with
game.
Alcivar being in there like that because I feel like him and Ruiz, although Ruiz has had a couple of better games recently, I'd say they're both about equal in the amount of output they've both had collectively. But I was fine with that.
Mm-hmm.
Who else did they have in there? Oh, they didn't have oh no, I was gonna say
Oh, and then I guess
was
the other
Lindsay
big
starting?
change. No, Lindsay didn't start. That's
It
I
was
guess the
awful,
other.
right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's the
Yeah,
other
so
big
that's the only
change.
thing that I was kind of wondering about, and I didn't even get to look. But what was it due to injury or just?
No, I think just wanted to give Awful the start over Lindsay.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I think it's well deserved.
yeah. I think those two, um, awful is a good sub for that position there. So I was fine with it. And now, did Ortiz start, or did he get subbed in?
He got subbed in.
Okay, I
Yep.
was just kind of looking at the highlights there, and I couldn't. But no, it was a good starting lineup. What did you think?
Yeah, I was really glad to see us go back to the 4-3-3. You're putting guys who, are probably your best chance creators and, goal scorers up front with, Yazwiak, Swiderski, and Shinyashinsky, who, Shinyashinsky is doing, really well on form. Obviously, he gets the first goal to tie it 1-1. And, I mean, he's just been on fire ever since joining the team. I think that's 3 goals in 3 games for him. So good to see him starting and to keep that momentum going. Yazwiak, I think it was like not necessarily a deserved start. I was glad to see him there, and I think a lot of it had to do with Reyna being out as well. But I think it was time for him to like kind of show up finally. I felt like he's had some good performances. It hasn't really like led to a whole lot. I just felt like maybe he wasn't quite living up to that DP like spot yet. But I thought this game he did. I think he was very like threatening on that side, and connected well with passes. Also like cut in a lot and found space that way. But I thought that was a good position and start for him. So yeah, I was good with everything except again like Alcivar I was a little bit worried about, and he was kind of like this game I would say he had some like good spots, and then he had like long periods of time where he kind of just like disappeared also. So it's kind of like up and down for him. A little inconsistent performance, but overall I thought he did all right.
Yeah.
So to kind of dive deep into the first half, Vancouver scored very early. I think about a minute and a half into the game, due to very poor clearance by Fuchs. What'd you think with the team going down so early?
Um, when I first saw that, it was, yeah, just the clearance overall was just pitiful. I'm not sure why they kind of went back to the center, and then like that left side was like Fuchs had nobody to go to. Uh, I don't know if he was trying to boot it out or just get it out or who he was looking forward to. You probably had a better angle than I would have, since like the cameras only show so much. But for them to score that early on, I was like, crap. I was like, I can't, like, because it's a lucky goal. It's a mistake on us. It's not like they like outplayed us or outpassed us to get down that far.
Yeah,
It's just a mistake on us, and they completely took advantage. Um, and typically, statistically, whenever we don't score first, we don't win.
yeah. This was actually the first match where that didn't happen.
Right. But at the same time, it was very early on, to the point where I wasn't too worried about it. I'm like, okay, it's like they still have a lot of time to get back
Mm-hmm.
and at least pull a tie off. So um I wasn't too disheartened by that early goal. And then the fact that they kept pushing right after that, and then they had that comeback goal a couple of minutes later,
Yeah, 6
just
minutes later.
reassured that it wasn't anything to worry about.
Yeah, it was.
Like Vancouver was not going to be a threatening team.
Yeah, the only thing I was just worried about was like after the performance the week before, which if you didn't listen or didn't get a chance to listen to that episode, highly recommend to go back and check it out. Where we talked about the loss to Montreal. I was a little bit worried of just like how they were going to respond to that, or after that performance, like going down so early.
Mm-hmm.
It was just a little scary, a little worrisome. And like you say it was they didn't outplay us. It was because of a mistake, but making a mistake that early on in the game, it's kind of like, oh man, like once these guys get tired, like are they gonna make more mistakes that are
True,
gonna
yeah.
lead to more openings? And again, the biggest thing for me whenever we get scored on, especially early, is like that just puts us so far behind the eight ball because we already don't create a whole lot of chances. So it's like I could have seen this game being 1-1, like even after we scored the goal, like to tie it back up. I was still kind of worried about that. Of like, man, is
Yeah.
this gonna end 1-1? Because
Yeah, because we ended up that first half ended up 1-1, and um I thought we were gonna get a second goal in the second. I mean, not the in the first half, just because of the opportunities that we were creating, but it was like miss after miss. So I was like, oh well, this might end up a 1-1, but
and then
obviously,
later on the game went. It seemed like Vancouver was gonna be okay with that. Like
yeah,
probably by around like the 65th minute, I kind of started getting vibes of that. Of like a draw here would be a win for them.
right.
Um,
But
it,
good on Charlotte for just to keep on pushing. I mean, that's the only way you can score, is just to keep trying and just kind of dial in that shot and try it in from different angles. And luckily for us, we had plenty of opportunities where we did end up putting that second one in, which we'll get into later.
yeah. So to stay on the first half, I thought Shimashinsky, great goal, great team play, and a great cross by Swiderski. And we finally scored
Yeah,
off a cross.
yeah.
I will say the header was like a little weak, and I think a
I thought
more
it was well
prepared.
placed.
I thought a more prepared goalie probably saves that. Uh, never know, but good on Andre for scoring it and keeping his streak going. He looks to have been the deal of the season for us so far.
Yeah,
What do you think?
yeah. I think but we'll see how Vargas turns out as well.
Yeah, we'll get to
Um,
that.
but no, I think you're right, because Yashinsky scored on his debut,
Yeah.
and he scored the winning goal.
Mm-hmm.
So no, yeah, I think you're 100% right on that. He turns out to be probably the signing of the season for us right there. I did like that it was also early minute goal on us, to where like we weren't trying to score in the 20th or 30th minute to get the equalizer. It was like we got it back right away.
Yeah.
And put us back on level terms. So now we have more opportunities, and like it's not so demoralizing.
Yeah.
And it kind of just let us know that, like, Vancouver scored off a lucky shot, a mistake, but like we actually worked our way down there and outplayed them. So, like, to me, just I knew right then and there we were a better team.
Yeah, I'd have to agree with that. And I thought, really unlikely to not get, 2 or 3 more in that first half. Like
Mhm.
Alcivar had some good long range shots. Bender had a great
Bender
shot
had a
that
good
just
one.
barely didn't like sneak into that corner post.
Yeah.
Trying to think of any other ones, but we definitely created, a lot of good looks that we weren't seeing before. And again, the only frustrating part is it's hard to tell if that was because of the team we're playing or if because of the formation that we're playing, like what the difference is.
Yeah.
Uh, this midweek will be a good test of that when we go up against Red Bulls for the U.S. Open Cup, and Seattle away will be another good test because not only, if we do get to see the 4-3-3 again, it'll be also an away game, in the MLS. Hopefully we can get our first win there. But that'll be a tough one. But anything else in that first half you wanted to talk about?
No, it was kind of like we had a good couple of chances in that first half, but it was like after we got that first goal, I don't want to say it got dull, but it was like it just kind of mellowed out a
Yeah, it
bit.
definitely did.
But also that first half is when wasn't it when Yazviak was fouled in the box?
Couldn't remember if that was the first or second half. I think that was second half.
Was it?
I think so. I think early in the second half, but maybe it wasn't. Maybe it was first half. I can't recall.
Well, anyways, I thought that was crazy that we didn't get that penalty. It was such an obvious foul. And the fact that like that just ref didn't. I mean, how many cards did he even throw out that ref? Not too many.
Well, he gave one to one of the assistant coaches. That was
Yeah, but that's just
interesting.
throwaway. Like,
Yeah.
that guy's not playing.
I think the PK was in the second half. Watching the highlights here.
PK.
Well, not the PK, but the foul or
Oh,
what should have
okay.
been a PK. But no, I don't recall him giving out too many cards. Great dribble by Yazwiak though. He gets the nutmeg, bursts into the box with some speed, and then gets taken out.
Which is like something you and I had discussed. As like this guy, because he's a DP and he is a good player, but it is just baffling to us that he's not getting more minutes as one of the top signings.
I think
I'm glad he's like getting more minutes and figuring out how the team works.
Yeah, I think with him, Kerwin, and now Reyna as well. If Reyna can keep the consistency and stay healthy, we've got 3 players who are good at. Well, we haven't really seen Kerwin's crossing too much, so maybe not to the playmaking part of being out in that wing. But we've got 3 players who can really cut in with some speed and deliver a shot or find that pass across the face of goal. So that's nice to see. I think that's definitely something we've been missing.
Yeah. Yazviak and Shinsky are real great wingers, and they got this quickness about them where like 1-2 step overs and they can just leave you in the dust.
Yeah.
And same with like Reyna. I mean, we saw it in Reyna with
against
the Miami game.
Yeah.
I mean, that was a great step over. He left that guy. And then another great option that I still don't think gets utilized as much as Bender, where he gets wide open at the top of the box a couple times, and like he kind of gets overlooked sometimes. But Shinashinsky seems to like be utilizing him more than I've seen Alcivar done.
Yeah, Bender's starting to show a little bit of like his rookie status. Like there's clearly still a lot of development to be had there. Like he needs to develop a little bit more shot power, as well as a little bit more accuracy, a little bit more speed. And his first touch kind of still lets him down at times. I think he has really good decision making and good like positioning. Like he always seems to like put himself in the right spot.
Yeah.
It's just like that end product needs a little bit of work. But he's, I mean, so young, and to be having like this much of an impact at like that young of an age, straight out of college, like it's obviously like huge props to Bender, and we've been saying it all season. But it is kind of, I think the expectations for him need to come down a little bit. Like he can't be Or at least I don't think the pressure of like being this main, goal scoring threat should be on him right now. I think it's a little. I think there's other guys that need to step up more. Your
Yeah,
Reynas, your Swiderskis, Yazuak. He needs to step up and start scoring some goals.
I agree that they need to step up, but I just feel like they're not utilizing him as much as they should be. Like he gets into these wide open spaces where like they decide to kind of take the ball or try to take the glory all to themselves, where like Bender is a lot of times left unchecked. If you go back to like that 24th minute where Alcivar takes the shot, which is fine, like that's a good shot, top of the box. Why not try it? But Bender also had he was wide open there, right to the left of him. Shinshinsky has passed it to Bender a couple of times and utilized him, which is great. But like other players, and the only one I can recall right now is like Alcivar's. He rather just take it himself and go for it. Whereas somebody else has the better position.
I think some of that might have to be with like Bender's finishing though, and I think they probably see a bit more of it than we do, just from practices and all. But I think even like when we watch him warm up, and they're like doing their finishing drills and stuff, like he kind of tends to miss it like low and wide, kind of like he did here.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So I think it's just something he's working on. But again, like he's a rookie, like we need to give him time to develop. So I think maybe that's why some of that decision making comes from, of like maybe there's a little bit of lack of confidence in his finishing.
Maybe.
So I don't know,
but still, I mean the team worked great as a unit up front. We saw plenty of shots in the first and second half, and that's good on them to create all those opportunities and create goal scoring opportunities off that. So that's how you're gonna get these wins. I just wanted to see them do the same thing on an away game here soon.
And then the other thing I would say about the first half that was really good was the link up between Koruho and Shinishinsky was really good. He constantly found him open out wide with just a ball over the top, like perfectly weighted. So those two guys, it's nice to see Koruho playing more balls forward as opposed to just like the back line passing it alongside each other.
Yeah, I noticed that him and Shinshinsky, and then also him and Swiderski. But
it's nice because it just creates an attack like kind of out of nowhere.
Right, yeah, almost like an instant counterattack.
Yeah.
But I will say this, like they kind of like those long passes like that. They just need to like tighten it up just a little bit, because like a lot of those seem to like go way over and then just be wasted opportunities where like the goalkeeper was either getting it or the other team got it.
Yeah.
Or like just a bit out of reach. But it's a good tactic. They just need to kind of tighten it down just a little bit and get the accuracy down more.
Yeah.
But besides that, yeah, I mean, overall, great link up play between the attacking team.
Yeah. One thing I did want to talk about though and get your thoughts on is what did you think of like our midfield play and just playing through the middle of the park? Again, it kind of felt like everything was out wide and trying to cut in or just sending crosses in.
Yeah.
I mean, again, we've shouted out Alcivar for having two shots from way outside, which was nice to see. But it just felt like, especially compared to the Miami game, we didn't have a whole lot of like combination plays at the middle or the top of the box.
No, yeah, and I think that's still where like we're lacking that key player in the defensive mid where they can start passing around, starting from like the middle mark and start working in, because a lot of these plays that are starting out they seem to be like from long balls, like you mentioned earlier, like Koruho throwing not throwing that up, but passing it deep or awful making a long pass like that, and then our wingers kind of get the ball, and then when we're somewhere around the goalkeeper's box is when we start kind of either bringing it in the center or crossing it in.
Yeah,
like the attack and play doesn't seem to start from our halfway mark. They just start from like our back line almost. Like they just kind of skip over that whole section, which is fine, but we lose when it's not a good ball, then we lose momentum. And it's a lot of like wasted time and wasted opportunity. But
Yeah.
I mean, that's just part of the plan right now. If we had a good defensive middle, or if we had like a good just um middle attacking scenarios, like where we could actually pass and develop plays from that, then we would have like a lot more time with the ball and probably more opportunity.
Yeah, I would say like we don't even need more time with the ball because like I think by the end of the first half possession was like 72 to 28% or something. Like it was really, highly favored in us. It's just we weren't doing anything with it. And it seemed like
Mhm.
a lot of the time, especially later on in the first half, like it would be a lot of passes like along the back line and then like Koruho or like you said, Awful just finding like a long ball and
Right.
then kind of running it down the wing. I did think like I don't know if it was just because we didn't have Ruiz, or Brownico just having an off game. 'Cause I didn't think he was, that involved going
When does he
forward.
ever have a good game?
Oh, I thought the Miami game he did well, like moving the play forward. And I thought he was gonna have another game like that, against Vancouver because we were in that 4-3-3 again. It just kind of seemed like he played the same, style and performance and just staying really deep with the back line. And then it just seemed like Alcivar just kept trying to go out wide too. It felt like we were like really fine with just giving up the middle of the field and just trying to force everything out wide. So it was interesting to see. But yeah, I think we're just missing being able to set up plays through the middle, like you were saying, and just
Yeah.
being a little more efficient with the possession.
Like when our back line has the ball, our tendency seems to just be either, like we said earlier, send it up for our wingers to kind of chase down, or pass it up towards the sides. Like there doesn't seem to be a lot of playmaking right up the middle. It's all kind of to the side and then work in, which is probably the strategy that the coach wants.
Hmm.
It's maybe that's he knows that we don't have like a strong defensive mid, or maybe that's how he wants his defensive mid to work.
Yeah.
So it's all part of the strategy, but I see it as more of like it could hurt us in the end, where like you're sending these guys out wide and chasing these balls out wide, where like they're gonna get tired easier. But
Yeah.
it doesn't seem to. Maybe that's why he's pursuing so many attacking midfielders.
Yeah.
So maybe trying to build that up.
Yeah, that could be it. And then like the last thing I guess is to go for just first and second half. Just corner kicks. We still just need to improve corner kicks. We need to figure something out. The only good one that I thought we had was I think our first one where we did a short pass to Yazwiak at like the corner of the box,
Mm-hmm.
and he tried to curl it in. It was a good effort, but I mean that's a pretty low percentage like shot of going in anyways.
Yeah.
But it was good to see them try something new. But we got to get something figured out on that. We get way too many corner kicks for not converting any of them.
Alcivar almost had the second Olympico, did he not?
Not that I recall any being close.
I thought it looked like he crossed one in and it was going on goal. I thought the goalie pushed it out.
Maybe, but like that, again, that's also like a low percentage kind of chance. We need to find some kind of like play to run or something like on that set piece of just getting someone who can head the ball, and it might be Kerwin or maybe Shimashinsky, just finding out a way to get them some space so they can head a ball in.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, that's fine though.
I just think we get way too many corner kicks for not converting any into goals. Besides the Adam Armour one, which was like 10 years ago.
Yeah, the corners are still probably our weakness. It's that and just set pieces.
Yeah. What'd you think of the second half? Anything specific you want to get into on the anything specific you want to get into on the second half?
Yeah, that second goal. I mean, obviously by Rios, and then the Vargas debut.
All right, we're back. What were you saying about the second half?
Oh, well, we saw Vargas's debut.
Yeah.
But we also did see, he did test that goalkeeper quite a bit. Vargas did, where we showed like, even that goalkeeper is only 17 years old, but he's really good for a 17-year-old. Like he saved, if it could have been like at least two other goals that would have went in.
Yeah, and it was great to see. I I mean, great to see Vargas come on. Obviously, like one to see a new player debut so early. Like he just got here Thursday, I think it was.
Mm-hmm.
So he had only trained with the team like one full day, I think. But to see the coach, be willing to put him in right away was awesome.
Yeah, I saw an interview where the top end
Top in 90.
yeah had with Vargas and Kalina. But the one that Vargas he said he was glad that like he had the results he did with only like 2 practices with the team and things like that. So I see a lot of good things coming out of this guy. He showed great class, good control of the ball.
Yeah.
He wasn't afraid of the one-on-one
Which is
attack.
awesome.
He's got a strong outside shot.
Got a lot of power in that shot.
Yeah, exactly.
I think that goalie might have a broken jaw.
Yeah, he did have that one shot right at his
point
face.
Blank to the face.
Yeah. But so it's a lot of pros right now going for Vargas. I see him sooner rather than later earning a starting role with that team.
Yeah.
Who he's gonna take off, it's hard to tell. But if I had to make place a bet on it, I would almost say he's most likely gonna take Bender's spot, just because Shinashinsky's proved he's deserves that starting role.
Mm-hmm.
Yazviak, he's a DP.
Yeah.
So I mean, he needs to be starting. Swiderski, nobody's taking him off.
Yeah, and he's also a DP.
Yeah, he's also a DP. So it's between Alcivar and Bender, and most likely it's going to be the young guy coming off.
Yeah, and I mean, and then even for Alcivar, there's still a lot of competition at that position as well, with Ruiz and maybe Ortiz if he finds form again. We'll see.
Yeah, but it looks. I think the coach kind of favors Alcivar a little bit over any, because I want to say they've had other. He's played with other teams.
Yeah,
with Alcivar in it.
Mm-hmm. I think Alcivar and Franco are kind of like his boys.
Yeah.
So we'll see how it goes.
Yeah, they have like a little favoritism going on there, but it's gonna be real soon where Vargas gets the start in time.
I think so. I mean, to come on, he came on the 65th minute, and in
like
30 minutes he had
already.
I mean, probably as many shots as the whole team combined had before him getting on the field,
and they were all on goal.
Yeah, and from like crazy spots too, like the one-on-one to like beat 2 guys and go for the near post, the chest volley from outside the box.
Oh, what a beautiful chest volley! Like that was just the way he just brought that down and still kept his composure.
Yeah,
and then still kept that shot on goal. I was just like,
I was going nuts. I was like, every time like the ball went to him, I would just stand up. I was like the only one in the section standing up.
Finally,
yeah,
standing up.
But yeah, so the first half, one thing we should talk about is Christian Fuchs going down in the 56th minute or 52nd minute with an injury. Hopefully he recovers quickly, because I mean, we've seen how much of a drop in quality it is in that back line when he's not starting.
Which just goes to reinstate my point I'm trying to get to. These guys is like more defensive players, sign more defensive players.
Yeah,
well, build the wall.
Frustrating thing is that like at that position we've got 2 other guys that we haven't tried out yet.
Well, looks like their hand might be forced here soon.
Yeah, because we know McCoon's not the answer. I mean, I thought McCoon did fine like when he came in, but again, like you said, for a long time, like over 90 minutes, he's just not that guy. Like
no,
90 minutes is just too long of time for where it's going to lead to a mistake.
Yeah,
and it could
McCoon
be costly.
Is more like a guy that you bring in to grind out like a 1-0 or something to just secure the victory.
Yeah, I haven't seen or heard any news about like what it was, the injury or anything. It might even be a follow up to what happened the week prior, or
I thought it was something with his ankle.
It might be, yeah. So I haven't seen anything official yet. But he's the first substitution to come off, and then at the 64th minute, we get Ortiz on for Bender. What'd you think of that substitution?
I thought it was fine. Ortiz also, I don't know. It's a hard line to walk, because Bender's doing great. And Ortiz is probably at the same level, but maybe Bender is just tired.
I lean more to like that being a downgrade now. Ortiz is
Ortiz
just too,
coming on.
yeah, he's just too inconsistent, and
Yeah, but at the
the
same
work
time, you
rate
leave
too.
Bender in, and it's like he's just
Yeah,
gonna get a
maybe
little
he's
bit slower.
gassed. Yeah, but but like the work rate between the two is just so clearly different. Like Bender runs so hard every minute that he's out there,
Yeah,
and Ortiz is like slow jogging, like only really tries when the ball's near him. Like
that's
just
my kind of
yeah,
player.
that's why you like him. He plays like you. And then I mean, I just didn't think like
But
honestly, he's still kind of like on my shit list from the goal. Who was it against? Colorado.
yeah,
Like
yeah, he gave up on that. Like that was just
yeah, from that I can't remember if that was Colorado or Orlando.
where we gave up.
The corner kick that led to the goal. Yeah,
It had to have been Orlando because Colorado was 0-0.
that was 1-1.
Was it?
Yeah.
Oh, well, either way,
Yeah, whatever game it was, like he's still kind of on my like bad list for that. Like
yeah, where he just like gave up on the run.
yeah,
back.
and honestly, like he hasn't done, and I think his first game where he came back on since then was as a late substitution, and he didn't really do anything with those maybe 5-10 minutes that he got. And I think even he came on the 64th 65th minute, so that's what, like 25 minutes of playing time, 30 minutes with the stoppage. I don't think he really did anything again to like deserve time on the field. The assist that he got was from him whiffing, like trying to whiff, or not trying to whiff, but he like tried to volley and whiffed it.
Getting in position.
But even that, like to get there was just because of a unlucky bounce from Vancouver. They tried to clear the ball and it hits Mackenzie Gaines, and the only reason he's in that position is because he wasn't jogging back to go play defense. So I don't know. I'm still kind of like I'm kind of out on him until I see a little bit more. But that was it. And then 65th minute, then we get Gaines and Kerwin on. This is where I think the manager Miguel Ramirez is starting to kind of like learn from past mistakes. Like the tie game, this is a must-win game. He didn't wait till like the 80th minute to put forwards on. Like 65th minute, that's pretty early in the second half. You're only 20 minutes in. I guess it's maybe like halfway through the second half. I don't know. It seems early, but to put two guys on who, Mackenzie Gaines, one, he's got a lot of speed, has shown some good form in the Open Cup, and in this 4-3-3, he showed against Miami that he can get in a good space and be a goal scoring threat. So that was great. And then to give Kerwin again, like we've talked about, like the opportunity and the minutes and the trust to like, hey, we need a goal, we need you guys to go get it. I thought that was great.
Yeah. What'd you think of Rios's goal? Lucky or
sorry, I was drinking coffee. Yeah, totally lucky. Rios scored, great for him. I don't want to be like too harsh on him because the story over the past week, his grandfather passed away this week or last week, and he dedicated the goal to him. But it wasn't, the goal wasn't from some kind of like a brilliant, play that he made or some kind of brilliant finish or anything like that. Like it was just really sloppy defending from Vancouver, and he's supposed to be that most forward guy. He was in that position and put it away. Like
I thought that was
he did his job.
It wasn't
it's like what you said about Bronico. He did his job.
Yeah, exactly. He was in the position he was supposed to be, and he finished. And I'm glad he finally got like his first real MLS goal, or against another MLS team. So we've been saying this, like he needs to put one in the back of the net. He's had so many chances, and it's been so long now, like where everybody else is scoring but him.
Yeah.
I was glad that he got one in.
I think with the I know we're talking about him a lot, but like with the addition of Kerwin, who is versatile, who can play the wing or the center spot, like I think he kind of goes down the pecking order a little bit more for me again, because not only do you have Kerwin who can do that, Andre can do that, Reyna can do that, like, and then obviously you've got Swiderski as well, And then you've got Melo, who's still, recovering from injury, but I think he's also like kind of like a center forward.
Yeah.
So you've got a lot of depth there. And, if you stick with that 4-3-3, that front three you can play around with a lot with the mix of like wingers and forwards you have. Where for me, he just falls really like deep down the depth list. Like if you had Reyna healthy, you probably see Reyna come on with Gaines, and then I think you would see Kerwin come on for Swiderski.
What's going on with Reyna now?
I think he just has another knock to his thigh or something like
Oh,
that. He's
okay.
just,
Bad.
yeah, especially because he's been playing pretty well lately. So I think with Reyna in form, Andre, Yazwiak, like you just got so many guys that can kind of do that.
Well,
But yeah, I mean, good on him on getting the game-winning goal. He got man of the match, which is odd. He got man of the match after only playing 5 minutes, but I mean, it was an important goal and it was a must-win game. What did you think of that? Of like, you're playing a pretty bad team with an extremely backup goalkeeper, and to only win because of a defensive, mistake at the 85th, 86th minute. What do you think of that? Like, are you happy with the performance? Are you disappointed in the performance? Does this change your expectations on the rest of the season any? Or on any of the upcoming games?
I'll say this. So I'm with everything you just said, and with the form that Vancouver has been in, and the fact that they just got this, young goalkeeper 2 days prior, and for us to only walk out with, on aggregate, just a 1-0, basically. Happy with the result, but I wasn't exactly thrilled with the performance.
Yeah.
This team, I think for this game, we should have probably been like a 3-1 or something like that. But you also saw where the coach kind of experimented quite a good bit with putting Vargas on there, then just taking out Bender and Swiderski to give them some relief time. So,
I mean, do you think it is an experiment, or do you think it's kind of like a Hail Mary pass?
Well,
because if that game ends 1-1, like that, there's a lot to critique there on him and what we've been doing the last couple weeks.
But then again, like, all that second goal all came from opportunities that the subs made.
No, yeah, I agree.
Like that cross came into Ortiz, who was a sub. He whiffed it, miraculously got control of the ball while he was on the ground and sent it into Rios. And I think the cross came from Gaines, did it not?
Well, it bounced off of him when they tried to clear it, but he, got into the space to even like try to play that pass.
That's just kind of how the chips fall. Like, this is the card that these are the players that we have, and we just got to make the best with who we have. And I'm sure the coach is also considering the next matchup in Wednesday, where we're playing Red Bulls for the Open Cup. So now he can't just play his B team. I wouldn't start my full B team against the Red Bulls.
No, I think you definitely need to mix it up.
Right. So, and it's another thing is too, it's freaking hot out there.
Yeah. They'll be up in New Jersey,
tired.
Yeah.
Bender's tired. Like, these guys, like, it's getting hot now. So you got to take that into consideration. Now you risk injury, dehydration, things like that. I thought we did fine. Like, it's a win. It's 3 points.
Yeah. No, I agree.
Sloppy win, sure, yes. Should we have done better? Yes. But we did what we were supposed to do. Like, that's one thing I believe when Kalina was interviewed, when they asked him about if he had heard that it was a 17-year-old kid that just got signed on as a goalkeeper, and they're like, oh, we need to shoot. And we did. We shot.
Mm-hmm.
It's just that kid is good. Like, he's gonna be a top goalkeeper. You know, he's good. It was a sloppy win, but in the end, it's 3 points, and we moved up the tables.
Yeah,
one step closer to playoffs.
We're in 7th over, quite a few good teams, over Atlanta, over New England.
Yeah, we're finally above Atlanta.
See on that, Atlanta. You and your spaghetti junction.
What?
No, I mean I agree. I was, talking online a little bit about it as well, player with people on Twitter of just like what do we think of the game, or and I thought it was a lot of hot and cold, like a lot of good moments, and then just big periods of also just like sloppiness or just you know not quite as bad as like the week before where we basically didn't create any chances,
Mm-hmm.
but again just not creating maybe like high percentage chances. And we got a little bit lucky to get away with the win, but I mean that's soccer. Sometimes you just get lucky and you get the win.
Yeah.
So we'll see going forward. I think it's my expectations haven't changed too much on the end of season results. Like I still think this is a playoff team. I don't think it's gonna be a deep run though. It might be that we make it and then lose first round, but we'll see. I do think you know we do have the team that I think could make a run at winning the U.S. Open Cup, especially if other teams don't put it as a primary focus.
Setting the bar high on that one.
But I think Red Bull, I believe is second in the East right now. They seem like a contender.
They are a very good contender.
I don't know who else is still in the cup, but I think if some of those top teams are clearly contenders for the MLS Cup and probably win the season, decide to kind of stick with the B team at the U.S. Open Cup. I think if we put out like a mix of the A team and B team, or start putting like our full starters, for that, I think it's like a decent possibility of going really far, or and even maybe winning it. So we'll have to see. And then again, there's still a couple of Division 2 teams in the mix as well.
Yeah, but those guys aren't gonna make it.
Well, yeah, but if we get matched up with them, like those
true.
are games that we should win.
I always count them out just because they're lower division teams, but you never know.
Yeah.
But I'm looking here at the round of 16 matchups. You got this Wednesday coming up. You got Orlando City and Miami. So Orlando's probably gonna get the W on that one. You got Nashville and Louisville City, most likely Nashville. Then you got New York City and the New England Revolution. You're looking at table numbers. Most likely New York City's going to get the win on that one. And I would say out of all the teams that are listed here so far that I've named off, New York City is probably, I would say, based on season results so far and how they're doing, it's gonna be the finalists. Like they're gonna be one of the ones in the final.
Mm-hmm.
Then you have New York Red Bulls and us. That's gonna be a tough matchup. If we're being realistic, I would say New York. I hate to say it, but if we're being realistic. Then you got Minnesota and Union. Those are two lower tier teams. Who knows what'll happen? Sporting and Houston Dynamo, most likely Sporting. Then you got San Jose and Sacramento, most likely San Jose. And then you got the big matchup. It's the LA Galaxy and the LA Football Club. That's a toss up right there.
Yeah.
Between those two, like those could, if those two weren't playing each other right then and there, those are also two clubs that could be finalists.
Yeah, I mean, I'm looking at who our table, like our path to the final. I think I don't think New York's gonna put like their strongest team out. I think they're gonna reserve, like kind of conserve guys and focus more on the regular season. So I think that is going to be a tough game, but I think if we kind of put a stronger side out and kind of start again focusing more on the cup, I think we could win that game. We'll have to see, but then if we win that game, you've got New York City FC against New England, who I would say New England probably not title contenders this year. If they want some silverware, this is probably where they focus, I would think, on the US Open Cup, and maybe put out their A team against New York City FC, who is probably going to focus on the MLS season. So maybe against their B team, then maybe New England wins that game. And then if New England win that, that puts us in the quarterfinals against New England. If we win, I think that's a game that we should be able to win. We've beaten New England, and I believe we would get to host that game at home.
We've beaten New England, but
at home.
They've also beat us.
Yeah, at their stadium. But if we get to host that game and play New England again at home, I think that's a high probability of winning, especially again if we go with a strong starting lineup. That puts us in the semi, and I'm looking at the Southeast table, and honestly, Orlando seems to be the only team that I would be worried about in that bracket. And again, if we got to host that game at home, I think that's a winnable game. I mean, they only beat us 2-1, I believe, right? And that was away. So
Orlando?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think you're right.
So I think, at home with the new pieces that we've added, and new formation, I think it's a, totally different result. So I could see them, I could see us making a deep run. Like, I'm looking at who we'd have to play to get to the finals. I think, the next two games are going to be the hardest of the two. I think if we get out of that and get to the quarters and get to the semis, like, I think we could win the semis, because I really only see Orlando being the threat, and I think we could beat them.
I don't know. I think these guys, like, once you start making like the deep runs into the cup, like, they probably have enough talent to be able to focus on both some of these.
I think with all the salary cap and stuff, like, I just don't think like the MLS format really lets you set up a team to be that way. And that's been a big issue with a lot of like MLS head coaches and stuff, with how the league, kind of constrains the teams with like the salary cap and how you have to have like players fit these slots and stuff. And I think that's why Seattle's doing so bad in the regular season, but won the CONCACAF Champions League, is they just decided to focus on that. And they didn't have the depth to focus on that and play MLS. And I think that's why you see a lot of MLS teams not do well in the Champions League, is because they don't have the depth to focus on both. So I really do think, like, if we kind of, this first season, we're not title contenders. I can see that, at least not right now. I don't know who we would add to change that, but I do think there is a path to winning the Open Cup, if we decided to, focus fully on that.
I don't know. I could, and this is my opinion, and only is like, I could see these teams wanting to play, their main guys Wednesdays, like especially teams like New York and New York's the New York Red Bulls and New York Football City Club, where they're already high up enough on the table where they can afford to lose an MLS weekend game if they devote their guys. Like, if we lose an MLS season game right now, like, we could drop down significantly. Whereas these guys, they're still in the running for playoffs. As long as you make playoffs, then it's a whole new, it's a whole new thing.
Yeah, I agree with that. That makes sense. Yeah.
But again, this is my first time really paying attention to how the MLS works and all that. So we'll see what strategies we kind of see. We'll see what teams end up putting their B squad out this coming Wednesday, and what teams are focusing more on just the MLS regular season games.
I agree. Yeah. So speaking of that, this Wednesday we are playing New York Red Bulls up in New Jersey at a neutral ground. It seems like, I don't believe it's their home stadium.
It's a Jersey thing.
What are you looking forward to in that match? And what is your score predictions?
What am I looking forward to? I'm looking forward to who the Red Bulls are going to put out as their starters.
Yeah.
I'm hoping they put out at least 3/4 of their main guys.
Mm-hmm.
Just to see what kind of, like, how we compare, how we go head to head.
And are you thinking we're gonna kind of follow suit and do similar thing?
I think at this point we should probably focus more on the cup than on the playoff run.
Mm-hmm.
Although, if you compare it to, us making a playoff run in the MLS or making it past the round of 16 on the Open Cup, like, which one would you prefer?
I think,
because we're not getting to the finals on either. I don't think.
I think both. I mean, I don't think we're gonna make to the finals of the MLS Cup, of the season cup. I don't think so.
But you think if we focus more of our main starters on the cup, we could make it to quarterfinals, semifinals?
I think if we beat Red Bulls,
Mhm.
yes, because and again, that's all kind of like thinking that trying to play the three-dimensional chess in my head of like New England beating New York FC.
Yeah. But we did just see them get beat by Miami, which was
Yeah.
surprising.
The Red Bulls, yeah.
Yes.
So
Red Bulls
they-
just got beat by Miami this past weekend.
Yeah, 2-0.
Surprisingly 2-0.
So I think, yeah, and I think, at the end of the season, if it's like we made playoffs but lost in the first round and then made quarterfinals or semifinals of the Open Cup, like I'm pretty happy with that.
Yeah.
A deep run at something is better than like just losing out pretty early on both. And I think the US Open Cup is probably more realistic at this point. Like we're already in the round of 16, like that's pretty far, relatively. So we're in the MLS, we're still really fighting for that last playoff spot. Like Atlanta United are right on our heels. We're only, I think, 1 point away from Cincinnati, or I know they only have one more win than us.
Yeah.
So super close to Cincinnati. Like it's just really bunched up right there in that 6th through 9th, 10th spot. So I think even just making that playoffs is going to be harder than making it to the quarter or semis of the Open Cup.
But here's the thing. So let's say, we're going up against Red Bulls. You want to start your main guys on this game?
I don't think you can right after this Sunday match.
Right.
Like I don't think you can start Swiderski.
Okay, so
I don't think you can start Carujo.
Let's say hypothetically we start half our main guys, half our B starters.
Mm-hmm.
We beat New York.
Mm-hmm.
Here we next we're playing who do we play?
We play Seattle away.
We would play Seattle.
Mm-hmm.
Then do you start your main guys?
No, then I think you start shifting the lineup towards more of like the.
No, I'm talking. When do you start playing all your main guys for this Open Cup?
Yes,
game?
if you beat New York Red Bulls, yes, because let's say if New England win, we host them at home, or if we win, we host the next game at home. I think no matter what, I believe.
Right.
So if it's New England, the team we've already beat at home, you definitely play the starters that game because it's like an above 50% chance that we win that game, especially at home, especially with the new formation, new pieces that we've added. I think that's definitely a very winnable game. If we play New York FC, I think you also have to play your main guys because that's your only real chance at winning.
Mm-hmm.
And then if you win that game, you're in the semis. And again, like just looking at who is in the bracket below us, it looks like probably it's going to be Orlando, maybe Miami. They're starting to look better.
Yeah, Miami's hot and cold.
But again, I think those are two teams that we could also beat with our main starters, and I think we would get to host it at home again.
Yeah, because I'm trying to think like from the trend of it, it seems like the Open Cup games are like on a Wednesday, weekday type thing. So it's like when do your B team start taking over like your Saturday weekend games? Where like
I think after you beat Red Bulls,
right?
Yeah.
Okay. That's when the transition kind of starts to happen.
Yeah, so I think against Seattle, you play like a mixed lineup, right? You maybe your back line that played against Red Bulls, and if we win, because I don't think the back line will be the starting back line. I think the back line and the goalkeeper are probably going to be the B team guys.
Starting that short goal.
Are
you starting that short goalkeeper or like Kalina? Like who's Red Bulls are?
That's the thing. I think Kalina could play this game. Because like it was a hot long game Sunday.
I think that's gonna be a good tale of how really focused the team is, or like how really far the
goalkeeper
team is.
Is a position where you can get away with like playing multiple games in a week.
Yeah.
Like,
but if they start Kalina, then you'll kind of know is like okay they're more focused on the cup than they are the MLS season.
But I think even if you start that like B team back line and goalie, and you win that game, I think you just run them out against Seattle again. Like just throw it out there and let them play 2 games in a row. And then when you go to play either New England or New York City at the next round, you play the starters. And obviously there's going to be...
I was just trying to figure out that strategy because I'm just like, in my mind, I'm just going A, B, but it's like...
There's also timing too of like, because it's not like it's this Wednesday and then next Wednesday also. Like,
no, yeah.
So I think like the week that you have the Wednesday game, that weekend before, you play the B team against whatever MLS side we're playing. And I think you just hope for the best that they make the playoffs. But honestly, like if we
They
miss
got a
out
pretty
by
tough
getting,
schedule coming up.
yeah, yeah, but like if we miss out on playoffs and we get like eighth or ninth, but we win the U.S. Open Cup, or even just get to the finals, like I don't know, to me that seems worth it than making playoffs and losing first round. Because like think about it in terms of football as well. Like, when has anyone ever cared about a team that made it to the first round of playoffs and then lost? Like like just saying that you made playoffs like doesn't really matter. But like if your team wins like your division and then you lose in playoffs, like that's still something.
Well, that's like one thing I said last season about the Panthers. Almost just like I just wanted to make playoffs, like just make the playoffs. But they couldn't even do that, you know.
Yeah, they probably won't do that this year either.
But they're like, you know, if you make playoffs, it kind of gives you an idea of like the depth of talent that your team has, in what areas you kind of need to improve of. Where like don't make playoffs, it's almost like you have to rehaul the whole team. Um, but with Charlotte, like we're in such a weird balance right now. Where like we're borderline. Well, we are in playoff status now, but one loss knocks us down a good bit.
Mm-hmm.
And then with the Open Cup, it's like right now it's just do or die.
Yeah.
So where your focus is very muddled up right now.
So let me present it to you this way too. Like we've said, you know, if you make a deep run and don't make playoffs, like that kind of seems like a good season. Let's say they put the B team out, lose this Wednesday, and then still don't make playoffs. Like, do you still think it was a good decision to not focus on the cup?
No,
Or
I'm saying right now I think we should focus more on the cup,
yeah,
because even though we're in playoff status now, I don't see that lasting with the lineups that we have, with the matches we have coming up.
and just like with our inconsistency of like being able to beat teams,
Yeah, not
especially away.
yeah. I you know I hate to be so negative about it, but I'm being just more realistic about it. Like the the tougher teams that we have played, you know, we haven't been able to beat them, with the exception of Atlanta. But even right now, ranking wise, we're above Atlanta.
Yeah, it is interesting if you
Um,
look at the table and see who we've beaten. It's all kind of teams that are
you
in
know,
the middle of
lower.
that pack or
Yeah,
kind of falling
exactly.
down.
And we're getting ready to face a couple of not so hot teams right now, but for the most part, it's like teams that are already in the playoff run and they have a good secure spot.
Yeah.
So, but that's another thing I also noticed on this Vancouver game. Is like when we play strong teams, we play at a much higher level than when we play these like not so strong teams. And when we play like teams like Vancouver or Miami, it's almost like we stoop to their level and play a lower level game. It's like we don't play it
Yeah.
as well.
Well, I think the Miami game we played really well.
Yeah, we
That's
did, but I felt like we should have came away with like a 2-0 victory instead of
yeah,
what we did. And I thought this game, when we scored that 7-minute equalizer,
yeah. I
I
thought
thought
that
this
was
game was
gonna
going to
just
be like
open
a
up the
3-1 game,
floodgates.
and it just.
It kind of felt like when we played Richmond, where we got like the goal back really early, like to get the 2-1 lead, and then we
Yeah,
just started scoring. I
yeah,
thought it was gonna be kind of like that. Like,
yeah.
all right,
It kind of seemed like that because you know Vancouver put a goal on us early, and then we scored almost right away, and then after that, it just kind of plateaued. And we, you know, had a lot of shots, but it was like just we didn't put any in the back of the net until the very 80th minute, 88th minute
yeah,
of the second half, which is a long time to have between goals.
yep, no, totally
So
agree.
I just feel like whenever we play these lower level team, well, not lower levels, but just lower in the tables, we
Mm-hmm.
kind of like stoop down to their game level and don't perform as well. And then when we play like Colorado, well, Colorado's not great, but when we played the Galaxy, like we played really good against Galaxy, only lost 1-0. We played really good against Orlando.
Yeah,
Um,
and they're
well,
what, third now, third or fourth?
yeah, it's like
It's like even
sometimes
it's
I
like
just don't understand. Like, how can you play so well against some of these teams and then just not terribly, but just poor?
yeah, it's not up to the standard we've seen before.
Right? Yeah.
But I think it's even more evidence as to like why you should focus on the cup, because that's who you're gonna run into in these late stages, right? In the semifinals, finals, you're gonna run into the top teams, and if we play up to them, even more of a chance of winning. So I don't know.
We'll see.
And then after the Wednesday game, is it Saturday the away game against Seattle, or is it Sunday?
I think it's Saturday.
Regardless, so we play Seattle away at Seattle this Wednesday or this weekend. It's a pretty late game East Coast time. I think it's like at
9:30. Yeah, May 29th. I think that's a Sunday game actually. But yeah, 9:30 p.m.
Yeah, that is a Sunday.
That'll be after that. It's New York again on Saturday, June 11th.
Yeah, so going into a tough stretch again. I feel like that's kind of been the story all season long. I think it's turning out that a lot of these teams can play. They're not easy. There's not really any easy games, it seems like.
No, but I mean, we've had Charlotte has had a lot of just scenarios kind of go against them, and they really pulled through. I know we talked about it briefly on the episode before, where like, the team just got put together. We've had no practice facility or just barely practiced at all, and to be pulling the results that they are pulling, it's almost miraculous in a way for a brand new team.
I mean, yeah, honestly, like if things keep going the way they are, I still think it's like what they've done in this first season still kind of beats any expectations I had, or I think
good signs to come.
Yeah. I think things are going to keep going in the right way. I think it's definitely something that we just need to give, more time to. But I think the team is trending in the right way in an overall sense. Obviously when you look at things week to week, it gets a lot more up and down.
Yeah.
But big picture wise, like what they've been able to do so far and to be like in the middle of the table, especially when you compare to like after the first 3 weeks and where we're at now, totally different like ideas of what could happen with this team.
Yeah, and like the performances that they've had, they've had some highs and they've had some lows. They've had like winning streaks, and then they obviously are losing away streaks. It's been like just a roller coaster of emotions with this team. We said it before, it's like when they're winning and they're winning really good, like we think they can make it all the way, and then when they're losing, it's like guys not going anywhere. But I didn't expect that all at the beginning of the season.
Yeah, I mean after the first like DC United game,
no, yeah,
it was just like okay, they're gonna be kind of like the Panthers.
This is gonna be like a team for like guys to get an easy W on, but it hasn't been.
No,
and I'm glad. They really showed.
I don't think any of the losses have been that way. Like maybe the DC one, those 3-0, yeah. But other than that, like you kind of run through them, like the Atlanta, like the LA one was 1-0, and it came from like fought. And it came from just like a crazy goal that like no one would stop. Atlanta United came from like a super late minute goal,
right?
And then who's after that?
I mean, you can run through all of them. They've all been hard fought. I don't think we've had.
Maybe Philly is the second one that maybe wasn't hard fought. They kind of
they did. Okay, so that's one more, but
other than that, like a lot of the times we've beat ourselves, really. Like
I guess you could say that, yeah.
Yeah, so the team's still, punching above its weight, beating expectations.
Yeah. And all these new signings also that have came and just helped the team out even more to make us more of a threat. Like, Shinashinsky has came in and off the bat he's got 3 goals. You got Vargas, he's already got 3 or 4 shots on goal on his first
his first 30 minutes.
Yeah, Yazviak is slowly developing into a good wing threat.
Yeah, he's kind of been not like, or how I should phrase this. I guess he's kind of been the most disappointing of the newest signing. Well, him and Derek Jones, I guess.
Yeah. Well, Jones, I was expecting more starting minutes from Jones.
Yeah.
But he's more of like, in my eyes, as a defensive player. Where in soccer, like all the glory goes to the forwards.
Yeah, but I would say, I guess, out of Andre, Yazviak, and Vargas, Yazviak we've probably seen the least amount of output.
Yeah. To include even some of these Open Cup games where he's played against Greenville and the other teams. Like I was expecting a lot out of him when he played against Greenville.
Yeah, I thought he was just gonna beat the shit out of him. That did not happen.
No, but again, he hasn't had that many minutes with the team since his signing. And
Not consistently,
yeah, and he was out with like injuries. I think like he's just starting to come 100%. But
I'm worried he's gonna get some stupid cards and like miss out on like big games because of that.
no, I don't think so. He doesn't seem like a guy that fouls a lot. And that one yellow he had against for yelling at the ref, I mean, like that was pretty stupid. But
that's what I mean though, is stuff like that. You saw, I don't know, well maybe it didn't show it on the broadcast, but there was like moments like that in this game where the ref like just went and talked to him.
Oh,
and was
really?
Like, chill. Like,
interesting.
I don't know.
Yeah, I didn't show that on the TV.
He seems a little hot-headed. Let's leave it at that. But yeah, any final thoughts?
No, I'd be interested to know what the listeners think on where we should focus. Focus on the Open Cup, or should we focus on a deep playoff run? Let us know. You know,
leave a YouTube comment, or
leave a comment, send an email.
Send an email, or
a tweet.
offsidesthetpodcast@gmail.com, at offsides_CLTFC on Instagram and Twitter. You can DM us. We'll read it out loud on the podcast, or if you leave a comment, we'll read it out loud. Did you watch any of the golf this weekend?
Heck no.
What? It was the second major of the year. Come on now.
No, only golf I watch is my own.
That's pretty bad.
I'd rather play it than watch it, to be honest.
Oh man, it can be exciting at times, but yeah, I hear you.
It's a good to like have in the background when I'm taking like a mid-afternoon nap.
Yeah, those are some good naps. Not gonna lie. I took 2 on Saturday. Any final thoughts?
Nope. Just let us know anything else you guys want us to talk about or bring up on our next podcast, and we'll cover that.
Yep.
And then also don't forget about the jersey giveaway.
Yep.
We'll put up pictures on our Instagram and Twitter later on.
Yep.
And that's it.
All right. Well, we will catch you guys next week after we beat New York Red Bull in Seattle.
Hasta mañana.
Banana.